Durban's picturesque beaches have long drawn massive crowds over the festive season, but their status as a must-see destination is being threatened by contaminated waters. The city's been battling high levels of E. coli, forcing the closure of over a dozen beaches. Major sewage infrastructure was damaged during the April floods, leading to untreated waste finding its way into rivers, the ocean and, of course, beaches. Will the city be able to fix the issue before the holiday season? Let's get an update from eThekwini Municipal Manager Musa Mbhele. Mr. Mbhele, thank you so much for your time this evening. Can you tell us, before we get started on the process, what the current levels of E. coli are at those Durban beaches that have been closed?
Good evening to you and good evening to your viewers. The levels of E. coli, which is the bacterial content in our sea water, varies from one beach to the other. However, we are given a scientific limit of 500, below 500 levels of E. coli. So out of our 23 swimming beaches, 11 of them have been opened, which means that they have E. coli levels below 500. We are left with 12 that will still need to be open, and we are anticipating that come next week Friday, we will have 4 of those opened, which will then mean that the rest we are targeting to have them opened come the 30th of November, which means that when our festive season is on full swing, all the swimming beaches in the city will be open.
So I just want to recap that, because that's quite important. 11 beaches currently open, 12 are currently closed. Of those 12, 4 are expected to be reopened by next week, and you foresee that all Durban beaches should be open by the 11th of November. Do I have that correctly?
Yes, you've got it right.
Excellent. So tell us a little bit about the pump stations and the water treatment stations that were damaged during those April floods. We know those floods wreaked absolute havoc with Durban's infrastructure. There was a major cleanup operation required after that. At what level of progress is the work to repair that infrastructure?
Yeah, we are progressing well, but we would like to have done more. But the kind of work that we've done so far in terms of upgrading the network, we have repaired sewer pipes. We are repairing pump stations as well. And then we've got also a number of wastewater treatment works where we've got the contractors on site trying to fix that. And I'm talking about the major ones that are responsible for pollution of the environment, mainly the one called the Northern Wastewater Treatment Works. So there is some work there. Insofar as the beaches that are impacted in Umhlanga, we are diverting that sewer flow to our Phoenix Treatment Works, which is already operational. So it's a combination of repairing sewer pipes, dealing with the pump stations themselves and the treatment works. So that is the work that we've been doing since immediately after the floods.
We know that scheduled power outages also have a massive impact on this infrastructure. Pump stations need electricity to work. If there isn't a backup power source to pump the waste out, it's going to overflow. What plans do you have in place? Do all of these pump facilities have backup power generators?
Yeah, the biggest challenge is that we do improvise by putting generators there. But our biggest challenge is the issue of theft of that equipment, but also vandalism. That is our biggest threat. But we are now trying to ramp up our security to ensure that where we have kept those generators, at least we provide 24-hour security to ensure that we don't get such levels of vandalism. Yes, the improvisation in the case of electricity blackouts is in the form of those generators.
So both Action SA and the DA are planning to take legal action against the municipality over failure to maintain water and sewage infrastructure. What's your response to that?
Well, both those are political parties, so I don't want to make a political statement, but we will wait to see those court papers. We will respond to them. We will provide a compelling case to the courts that under very strenuous circumstances, as the city, we have done all that we could to ensure that we protect our environment. By the way, this disaster has been the largest ever seen in recent history. So if someone comes out and says we have to be held liable for failure to fix that, they will have to convince the courts that we have not done anything. And if we have not done anything, you wouldn't have a functional seat. So it will be interesting, that court battle, and we're looking forward to it.
I just want us to look a little bit at the time frames. So it's been roughly 7 months since the floods hit Durban, causing that devastation to infrastructure. The 11th of November, by when you hope to have all beaches reopened, is roughly 2 weeks away. And the start of the December holidays are about 6 weeks away. So in the 7 months since the floods hit Durban, the management of the E. coli situation has not been sufficient to a point where those beaches have been able to be reopened. How confident are you, and what is that confidence based on, that you will be able to fix the infrastructure to such a point to remedy E. coli levels within the next 2 weeks? Because a lot of holiday makers may be watching this, making their plans for the next 6 weeks to say, well, hang on, am I going to take my family to Durban and risk that, you know, after 7 months of not achieving these goals, that you will have been able to achieve these goals in reducing E. coli levels by then? So their decision-making rests very much on your answer.
Yeah, can you correct something quickly? I said that come next week Friday, we will have 15 of the 23 swimming beaches opened. So the remaining will only be opened at the end of November. And this is based on the scheduled work that we are doing on the network, the pump stations, and all the infrastructure work that we are sure that if it's concluded, and we are, according to our plan, we are on schedule to conclude the major upgrade. So we should have all of the 23 beaches opened by end of November. And because contractors are already on site in the major installations that have failed that are causing pollution. So it is based on that. But also, I want to say this, we have an accredited water research facility in the city that works with other institutions. We test this water on a weekly basis. We test the level of E. coli in our seawater on an ongoing basis, and we have significantly seen a lot of improvement. However, we want to be circumspect about it so that we don't put the cart before the horse and overpromise. That's why this is a very conservative estimate, but a lot of work is being done behind the scenes. So we are quite confident that come the end of December, we want to invite people to come to our shores. They must enjoy the Durban that they've always enjoyed.
Well, thank you very much for speaking to us. That was eThekwini Municipal Manager Musa Mbhele. And of course, eThekwini is a major tourist destination for South Africans and for foreigners as well over the December season.